The performance of the night went to Buckley and Antonina, and then the first fight of the night won the fight of the night. They all won $50,000.
Dana, pretty impressive performance from Deiveson Figueiredo in the main event. Just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of his performance tonight and this emerging force as a dominant flyweight champion.
Yeah, he looked incredible tonight. He's fun to watch. He can knock you out. He can submit you. And the guy's he's got that meanness to him. When he comes into fight, he's fun.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Because the flyweight division was the one that was always hard to market. Do you feel like this guy's simple to market? I mean, he's out there, the god of war, out there trying to just crush people?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what people, if you don't like this guy, stop watching fights. You need to find a new hobby if you don't like watching him.
Unique position tonight because Brandon Moreno, it seemed like kind of a de facto #1 contender fight with Royval. He wins. He says he wants the champ. Deiveson says, I want Moreno. So is that done deal? I mean, is that the right fight?
We're going to keep him here. He's not going back to Brazil. We're going to turn him right around.
Really? How fast do you think that'll happen?
December.
Wow. That fight right there will happen sometime in December?
Yeah. That's what we're working on.
Very cool. Valentina Shevchenko, talk about her. I mean, obviously she looked great again tonight. People now get excited when she loses a round that, there's something going on. So what did you think of her?
Yeah, the odds dropped like crazy when she lost that round. I bet you that knucklehead that bet $12,000 to win 600 was freaking out in the second round. Yeah. But even though she lost the second round, she looked completely dominant tonight. Started picking her apart later on, and obviously Maya is super tough, man. I mean, so tough. And, I think that Andrade Shevchenko is a very fun fight. And the thing I love about that fight, too, is that Shevchenko's at a place in her career now where she needs an opponent that people think actually has a chance of beating her. And I think we all know that Andrade does.
Have you talked to Valentina yet? I mean, that does seem like the fight to make, about like how soon she'd be able to fight or anything like that.
No.
Want to ask you one more about the main card. Shogun Rua, obviously a legend of the sport, but it looked a little bit flat tonight. He's kind of talked about the end being near, that sort of thing. Have you had a chance to discuss them at all?
No, but I hope it is. I hope that tonight was his last night. I would like to see him retire.
Somebody on the front in their career, Joaquin Buckley, had another pretty fantastic night. Maybe not as viral as the first one, but I don't know how you would do it again. But what did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I mean, he went in there against a guy who was undefeated tonight and went right after him, throwing tons of bombs, never got winded, never got tired. Almost knocked him out at the end of the first round, kept his composure, came back in the second and finished it. I mean, you couldn't look any better than he did tonight.
Last couple for me, Conor McGregor kind of announced this week that he's signed on to fight January 23rd. Are we ready to announce Conor, Dustin, January 23rd, Abu Dhabi?
I think we did, didn't we?
If it was on the broadcast, I don't know.
No, I mean, we announced it the day that he signed the bout agreement. It's a fight.
All good to go. And then his reps came out and said, later on after that, Pacquiao is a fight that they'd like to see. Is that something
Who said that?
That Conor's rep said, Audie said it, his manager, that he'd like to see Conor Pacquiao, and that's going to happen at some point. Do you have thoughts on that? Is that something you're interested in seeing?
I don't have any thoughts on it now.
Fair enough. And last one for me, Mark Ratner tonight, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just wanted to, get your thoughts on that and what he means to the company and the sport, and ask what is the plan for the Hall of Fame? I mean, it's kind of a weird year, I know. So are we doing an induction, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, first of all, obviously Mark is a legend in the sport of boxing and mixed martial arts. One of the greatest guys ever, and just, there's so many people hate each other in this sport. Nobody hates Mark Ratner. Everybody loves Ratner. He's one of the most respected guys ever in combat sports. So to finally induct him into the Hall of Fame tonight means a lot to us as a company. I know you saw a lot of Lorenzo in the video. Very, very close to Lorenzo too, and to many of you. So it was a good night.
Are there plans for like a ceremony this year or anything?
I have no clue, man. This fucking wacky world we're living in right now. I don't know what's going to happen.
What took so long to get him in?
Good point. Yeah. No, he deserves it.
I wanted to ask you about Valentina. You know, she's at a spot like where people are disappointed when she fights like that. What do you have to do to take it to that next level to kind of get the fans back, you know, where she's absolutely dominant against a very good fighter and people are disappointed in how she goes? What do you think she has to do to kind of turn that around again?
She doesn't have to do anything. Just keep doing what she's doing. Keep winning. You can't listen to the fucking fans and the media. You fight your own fight. You fight the way that you need to fight. It's not like she, laid and prayed on somebody for the whole thing. She was picking her apart at the end of that fight. I got to look here, but I'm assuming from all the fights that I've seen in my life that Maya's nose is broken. I mean, it looked like a bad road. Her nose was going a bunch of different directions. I mean, when you go in and dominate somebody the way that she did, you don't have to listen to anybody else. Just keep doing what you're doing.
How do you feel like when you look at her and Amanda? Do you think it makes sense to put them together again at some point, given how close their two fights were and what she's doing in her division?
Well, let's talk about Jessica Andrade first. I mean, Andrade is a very, very good fight for her. That's a tough fight. I mean, if you're going to go out and be safe the first couple of rounds against somebody, like Jennifer, what are you going to do against Andrade? Andrade is going to bring her a lot of things she's never seen before. Not to mention the power that Andrade has. I mean, she just knocked a girl out, a really good girl, like the number 2 girl in the world, with a body shot. She's a real problem for Shevchenko that she's going to have to figure out. And if she does, I think the fight that makes more sense is Weili Zhang will fight here soon, and after Weili fights, that maybe you do those two. But I don't know. Just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
And one last question about Valentina. What is it in your mind that she is best at? Like, she's so well-rounded. Like, you say, hey, she's dominant at this. Is there anything in your mind when you look at her striking, or what would you say is her best attribute?
I would agree with you that she's very well-rounded. I mean, some of those slams tonight, her ground game, her stand-up is ridiculous. When she lands punches, they're hard, straight punches. Obviously, her kicks are nasty too. She is a handful for anybody.
And do you almost got rid of the featherweight division at one point, and now you have so many fun fights out there that are potentially out there. Do you think it's just a cyclical thing? Like when you were thinking of getting rid of them, was it just because guys weren't performing, or what was it that led you to even consider that decision?
Yeah, well, I never, We would sit in matchmaking meetings and battle over this thing forever. And obviously I'm glad we didn't, but, the division needed a little bit of rebuilding. We rebuilt it, and this is the result.
How do you think this kid, I mean, obviously he's just getting started as a champion. I know not a kid, but, just getting started as a champion. You look at somebody like Mighty Mouse, who had been around for a long time. Do you see him comparing favorably to Demetrius in terms of what he can do in the cage and the kind of fighter he would be?
Yeah, well, this kid is so much different. I mean, he's mean. This kid's mean. He comes in with bad intentions, and he looks like he's got bad intentions. And I think people gravitate toward those type of fighters more. And let's see if he can go on a run, that can make the kid a legend. I mean, he's got all the tools, and that, like I said, he can knock you out. He can submit you, and he's a scary little dude, man.
And then the last thing I wanted to ask you is, where do you go with Mike Perry? He's 500 in his career. He's giving you some trouble and whatnot. After that fight tonight, do you think he has a future in the UFC?
Listen, he's always tough and fun to watch. That third round, what I really like about Mike Perry is, depending on how you guys scored it, but I'm sure you gave him the first round, gave Tim the second, and the third was up for grabs. He tried to win that fight, man. He stood on his ground, and those two just started trading punches. He's fun to watch. I don't know. I don't know what it means where he goes after tonight, but he's a fun fighter.
Right. You mentioned you wanted Davidson in December. Would that be the pay-per-view card? Because I know the 19th card is already pretty stacked.
Yeah, we don't know. It would be one of those.
Have you spoken to Brandon Royval after his shoulder pop?
I haven't.
And then you spoke about Shogun, but what about Paul Craig? He looked very impressive. He made Shogun tap to strikes, which I'm sure no one thought would happen. So what do you go with him moving forward?
Yeah, no, he looked good, and not to take anything away from him at all. You know, he came in and did what he had to do tonight. But just being honest, Shogun didn't look like Shogun to me tonight. Shogun looked old and looked like a shell of his former self tonight. So, yeah, I'd like to see him hang it up, hopefully.
And what'd you make of Kyle Dawkins, young middleweight, coming off his first loss, gets his first big win in the UFC? What'd you make of his performance?
Yeah, right. No, he did what he needed to do tonight. Definitely.
Dana over
Yes,
here.
sir.
How does it feel to see somebody from the Contender Series? I know it didn't work out for him, but see the show works.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, I was talking about this the other day. If you look at the Ultimate Fighter and the people that came off that, and you know, some of the legends of the sport came off the Ultimate Fighter, and these kids that are coming out of the Contender are way nastier than the kids from early on in the Ultimate Fighter. You're going to see world champions coming off that show. It's going to happen.
I know with pandemic going on, nobody knows what to expect from today to tomorrow. But do you see yourself coming down to Texas like your friend Eddie Hearn them to put on live shows? Because that's what they're doing in the boxing side. Like Canelo comes up, I think, December 19th. Earl Spence is fighting in 2 weeks. And it's all because Texas is so wide open. You see how it happened in 2021 and getting back to live events?
I'll go anywhere where I can sell out the whole arena.
Oh, it's constricted. It's not the whole arena, but
Yeah.
you can get
Then
you
you won't see me in Texas then.
What about Jerry World though? You got enough room?
Won't do it. No, I'll stay here at the Apex instead of going somewhere where we can't have a full crowd.
And how's it feel good to be the trendsetter for all of sports? I got people in the NBA side like, man, I know you cover MMA. Dana might be the sportsman of the year. How's it cool to see your name come up in that conversation for turning things around when everybody thought everything was bleak?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
How's it feel to have your name come up in that
That
conversation?
doesn't suck. I appreciate it. You know, especially if you look at the criticism that I took being first and going in. So to hear that now, yeah, doesn't suck.
Hey, Dana, down here.
Yeah. Do you have another one, or you?
Well, one last one.
Go ahead.
When will you think that we'll get to see a mega fight where we have like you got John and Israel and they go back and forth, and now I know you got Izzy going to fight Blachowicz.
Yeah.
Will that fight ever materialize, or just Twitter where they're just talking back and forth?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you know, it's all talk right now, but Israel Adesanya wants to move up and take that fight. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. It's not done yet, but yeah, they're interested, and so are we.
Is John officially a heavyweight though?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of. He hasn't told us.
What's up? I saw earlier this week it was announced Tony Ferguson is fighting Charles Oliveira. So I was wondering what that meant for Michael Chandler, because it looked like him and Tony were potentially going to fight.
Yeah, well, he just cut weight. He had just cut the weight in Abu Dhabi, so he couldn't do it. So, you know how we do it. We roll, we make fights, and these fights will happen, and then we'll see what's next for Chandler.
Would a name like, so would you look at booking him against like Gaethje or maybe Dan Hooker, or what sort of?
I don't
level
know. I mean, obviously those are the two guys that are left, but I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out.
Well, thanks, Dana.
Dana, back here to your left.
Hey,
So, Buckley has some serious bad blood with James Krause. And I think a lot of people would be interested to see if that could be made. I know Krause is a welterweight, but he fought at middleweight less than a year ago. Any possibility that could be arranged?
yeah, I didn't know that until tonight. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's definitely a fight we can make. And obviously, if they both want it bad enough, why would I say no?
Absolutely. Antonina Shevchenko, how impressed were you with her performance?
I was very impressed with her performance tonight. Her ground game and overall game has come so far. Yeah, she looked incredible tonight. I mean, yeah, she won the performance of the night tonight, so
Absolutely.
she looked great.
Also, with Mike Perry missing weight like this, I'm sure you've heard people talking about larger fines, a bigger percentage that the fighter that misses weight. What do you think about that? Might that be something that could be implemented?
Yeah, it's not up to me, though. That's up to the athletic commission.
You would support it, though, if they made it a lot.
Sure, they can do whatever they want.
Makes sense. Last thing, any thought of a women's atom weight division, 105?
I have thought about it. This isn't the year to do it.
Right.
Definitely not the year.
Sometime in the future, though.
Possible, yeah.
Awesome.
I've definitely thought about it and kicked it around.
I think it'd be great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dana, would you be concerned about Davidson making weight twice in a month?
Yeah.
Are going to have a backup fighter or something?
I don't know. We didn't even make that fight yet.
You were talking about Shogun. What's the next step? Are you going to ask him to retire? Are you going to talk to him? How many fights does he still have?
Yeah, I think he has 2 fights left on his deal. But yeah, I'd like to see him retire.
My last question. Is Anderson released from UFC, from his contract?
Yes. Anderson is released from his contract. Yep.
Last one, prediction for Tyson versus Jones Jr.?
I don't know. It's such a tough one to call. You know, when's the last time we saw either one of them fight? Huh? What? What did the Tasmanian Devil say?
It's easy to call.
Easy to call? What is it? Tell me.
Roy Jones.
By what? Knockout?
Well, there's no knockout, so it'll just be
There's no knockouts?
No, they're not.
They're not allowed to knock each other out?
No.
Too dangerous.
How do you enforce that?
Well, that's the referee is going to give instructions in the locker room. According to Andy Foster, it's going to be hard sparring. They're not allowed to try to knock each other out.
Wow.
All right.
That's truly an exhibition, then.
I'd like to bet that doesn't happen. Can you bet on that? I want to
No
bet.
betting on the fight because it's an exhibition.
Oh, shit. You can't even bet on this fight? No. I did not know that. Okay. Teaching me things, you guys. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. Any other questions?
Did you know Adesanya is commentating?
You know how to what?
Adesanya is commentating it.
Yeah, I did know that. He told me that before it happened. I knew that was coming.
But by the way,
Good for him.
there's also no judges, and they're not going to announce a winner. So there's nothing there.
Shit. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
The hits keep coming.
Last thing here, Dana.
Yeah.
Any thought about the person that's going to be the new lightweight champion? Anything rattling around in your mind about?
Nah, I'm giving Habib some time, to think this over, and he and I are going to get together and meet soon. So
Fair enough.
we'll talk. Did you have another one, brother?
Yeah.
go ahead.
You said you're not going to go anywhere to have fans until you can have a full arena.
Right.
That is the plan in Abu Dhabi for Conor, though?
Yeah.
Is that going to be, can people buy tickets, or is it invited people? Or?
Still, I'm working on it still.
Okay. What, I guess, how difficult has that fight been to book? Has it been a pretty easy process for you?
The McGregor fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those two basically did it themselves. Those two said they wanted to fight. The contract not getting signed for a while by Conor, I mean, that didn't mean anything. That means nothing. Conor McGregor has never said, I'll fight, and then said, you know what, I'm not going to fight. He's never done that. So it was never even a concern for me.
Would you still be able to do it if there wasn't going to be fans?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take a 10,000 seat arena and sell 5,000 tickets. That I'm not. I'd rather stay here.
Hey, Dana, just quickly, there was been a rumor going around that Governor Sisolak might, end what you're doing, what Top Rank's doing. Have you had any communication with his office?
Say that again?
Is there a chance that the governor won't let you continue to do this now since the coronavirus is getting worse? There was a rumor around that potentially he was going to put an order out saying that he wasn't going to allow Top Rank or you to keep doing these shows.
I never heard anything remotely close
No,
to that.
you had no...
Look at what we've done. I mean, you know what I mean? That would be madness. Yeah, I haven't heard anything even remotely close to that. Go ahead, ma'am.
Las Vegas Aces guard Kelsey Plum sat in with the Matchmakers recently. How did that come about, and you expect to see her back?
Because we saw her on Instagram saying that she wanted to be a UFC matchmaker when she was done playing basketball. So we brought her in, we walked her through the Matchmaking 101, and we let her make a couple of fights. And yeah, she's awesome. She's a good kid, and we had a blast with her. So yeah, I'm open to it.
Well, she's incredibly competitive. I can imagine there was kind of some smack talk going on, and
I liked
yeah.
how, you know what? I liked how she walked into the room and was just like, she had her shit all written down. She knew what she wanted, and she wasn't shy. She's actually really cool. We had a good time with her. We good? Happy holidays, you guys. What's up, man?
One last thing. I know you're not a fan of Bob Arum. For boxing fans everywhere, they want to thank you for forcing him to put that Teofimo and Lomachenko fight because of what y'all been doing in the UFC. That ESPN forced their hand. So how does it feel to be giving back to the combat sports community?
You keep setting me up with these things tonight, these great things, and asking me how I feel. How else could I feel but great about that? I love it. Make Bob Arum spend some more money. I love it.
What you think about that fight?
What did I think about it?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Lomachenko fight. I was on Fight Island. Yeah. I didn't see it. But thank you again. Happy holidays, you guys.